So trees speak to the soul of human beings, and this has been documented. And I wanted to get into this about the rainforest regarding decoding what is happening spiritually. Now, trees have just a very special connection with human beings. This is why even in a lot of ancient texts, including the Bible, humans are compared to trees over and over again. They live for hundreds of thousands of years, and so they're like these sentient beings who have recorded in the bark of their trunks everything that has happened in the world. And so humans have always had a sense that trees are sentient since the beginning of time. Actually, recent studies shows that trees remove so much pollution from the air that they prevented 850 human deaths and 670,000 cases of acute respiratory symptoms in 2010 alone. When an insect called the emerald ash borer killed off a significant number of trees in the American Midwest in the 90s and 2000s, rates of human death from cardiovascular and respiratory illness actually increased. So this just is like a quick little snapshot. You can do your own research, but just showing how interconnected, how much oneness there is with us and trees. They even impact us on a psychological level, okay? People who spend time outdoors, the more you are connected with nature, the more you are connected with spirituality. Now, the universal tree of life and both ancient and modern concepts I spoke of, the Kabbalah, the tree of life, and they symbolize the connections between all life forms. And they are found in many religions and philosophies dating back as early as ancient Egypt. The Egyptian tree of life symbolized creation and represented the chain of events that brought everything into existence. Fast forward to modern science. The tree has become the quintessential symbol of biological evolution, as its ever-branching image poignantly depicts the unmistakable interconnections between all living species on the earth. And, souls of dead Mayan ancestors rose from the roots of trees. Even in Germanic regions, mankind was created from the trunks of trees. I mean, it just goes on and on. Sweden, they believe trees could guard homes, and you were to respect them. Even with like fairies and nature elementals that live in trees. This is like very ancient knowledge. This isn't new age, whatever that means. This isn't that. This is ancient knowledge. And so this is why you see trees so revered and treated so sacred by many different cultures across time. So trees have connections to rituals and ceremonies, and it is the belief when a family member dies, their spirit resides in the natural environment to watch over their kin, relay messages to and from God, and grant blessings and wishes and requests. And so the point that I'm getting to with all of this information is that the spirits of our ancestors are in those trees. And as those trees are burning, they are taking new form and they are inhabiting new trees, i.e. you and me. African have a lot of practice of sacred trees. They provide shelter. They would have gatherings there. Center of the social activities would be around trees. The community dances, court sessions, all of this. Trees were very connected. They considered them sacred, and they represent a cosmic connection between earth and the heavens. The trees help people measure the passing of time through seasonal changes and became the centerpiece of local folklore. So this is just all around the globe. I'm going all around the globe to prove this point. Sacred trees were described as possessing huge or unusual dimensions or miraculous physical characters. Frequently, sacred trees were regarded as having omnipotent magic powers to punish, cure, or to carry out miracles and to confer unusual abilities. Doesn't that sound like humans to you? I mean, you can't separate us in trees. You just cannot. So I shall go on. Now, in many other countries, in many other belief systems, it's sacrilegious. You don't cut down a tree, burn a tree. They really treat them like they are living sentient beings. They are souls. And the souls of the Orishas are dedicated to these trees. And by entering a tree, you may leave the spirit homeless, right? And that spirit may take revenge. Now, in some communities, fear revenge by the spirits in response to any harm to the sacred tree is so great that special ceremonies, which may include sacrifices, prayers, ceremonies, are held to pacify the angry spirit of the tree that has been cut. Throughout history, as in many cultures, sacred trees were regarded as omens and oracles, as well as soothsayers that may speak in human voices. Make me think about Rahule. Punishment of whoever violates the tree. All over the world, sacred trees are protected by a system of taboos and ceremonies which were developed to prevent any damage. These trees are regarded as the abode of supernatural beings, gods, souls, and any harm to such abodes are to be heavily punished. Cutting down sacred trees is regarded as a particularly serious offense against the supernatural element because such an act leaves the spirit homeless. I mentioned that. There is thus a need to repatriate these supernatural beings. And so look at that beautiful tree. Sacred trees are believed to have magic, curative powers in Africa. Even species of some plants or parts of it that are known as having medicinal properties, such as the leaves of sacred oak tree, are regarded as omnipotent forms of medication when administered in a decoction. Now, we know that people use these trees as well to do a lot of healing ceremonies. And so trees are very important. And, the Orishas, you just can't separate them in trees. Just Google Orishas and trees, and you see how much comes up, okay? And I think it's really powerful that a tree, just as a human, can be a conduit for a curse or conduit for blessings, right? For others. We could either offer healing to other people or harm people. And so when I talked to Rahule, this really touched me when I first heard this story, because Rahule, like this, a lot of this channel content that you all love came from Rahule, the tree spirit that I talked to. And in the last few meditations, Rahule was so downcast and so sad, and it just broke my heart. Rahule cried to me and said, "When the trees burn, I burn." And this picture right here, I was looking for something to show you all what I see when I go there. This was the closest thing that I could find. If you could just imagine this and some steps going down into the underworld, this is Rahule. And Rahule told me that it's just painful to see happening, but Rahule told me to tell you all, breathe in the energy, breathe in the spirits of your ancestors, for they are being released and they need a new home, and they are seeking the new gods that are awakening to take up in the abode, because we are the tree of life. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is the combination of right hand and left hand paths, self-realization, self-love, shadow work, becoming whole again, becoming less fragmented, less traumatized, and able to heal others. So what's happening is sad. A lot of our water, 40,000 gallons, comes from the rainforest. Economic activity is affected by rainforests at about 70%. There are over 2.5 million insect species there. 1 in 10 animals on this earth actually are in that rainforest. 31 million people are there. It's hard to see. But as a metaphysician and as someone who is rising above 3D consciousness, we understand that we are multidimensional. There are many parallels, and there are many beautiful things that can happen, and sometimes destruction. Most time destruction has to happen for rebirth to happen, and even the animals are like, stop. Don't do this. Don't do this. This is sacred. So know that Rahule has told me to tell you guys, when you're taking your deep breaths, when you're practicing your yoga, breathe in the energy and the wisdom of the ancestors. As always, we say, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.